Good evening and welcome to the Sunday Night League, where we are at round 5. Today we are at the Tokyo Expressway South Inner Loop. We have 5 minutes to qualifying, so we're just letting the drivers get to grips with the cars, have a bit more practice, and in 5 minutes time we'll get underway with qualifying. So sit tight and we will be right with you. Hello and good evening. Welcome to Sunday Night League race tonight. Here we are, round 5 at the Tokyo Expressway South Inner Loop on a rather remarkably sunny day. Race starts approximately 14:55, and this race will consist of 10 laps. each of which is 4.08 miles and consists of 15 corners, depending on how much you consider a corner is, as a number of the corners on this track are slight kinks and a rather long straight otherwise. So plenty of straights on this track, followed by a series of hard braking points into technical sections. Should give everyone plenty of opportunity for overtaking then, if that's the case. But we will find out shortly, I am sure, once we have a race start in about 10 minutes time. First up though, qualifying. A few notes going into tonight's race though. We have a number of new drivers. Tonight we will be joined by Ragnar and Salek, who will be joining the Porsche Cup for the first time, as unfortunately both Zanspeed and Flashman now have work commitments and unfortunately are not able to race. This does mean, however, that we could have a completely different change-up of the lineup in the championship tables, as up to this point Zanspeed, I believe, had been winning it, now not able to race. That opens it up to the rest of the drivers to take that position. We'll see how they manage to get along. So we'll just stay on board here with MFC Doors. As MFC Doors does turn right here, this is the pit entry just on the left, where the yellow arrows are. Quite a different one, and then coming shortly out of it immediately afterwards there, which is quite surprising, as this is very different to your usual track where the pit entry and pit exit are before and after the start-finish line respectively. This appears to be one of the many differences on this track. They've got a number of these combinations of Tokyo's expressways, and today we're on the South Inner Loop. So we have our first series of qualifying times already set. We have Digital Blasphemy setting a 1:58.3, but taking pole at the minute we have Mulevin, who takes 1:57.6. Still plenty of time for qualifying though, so they could be knocked off pole position. They do have a lead of 0.4 seconds at the moment. Just going through here is one of the many technical sections that was previously mentioned, followed by a rather long, the beginning of a long straight. We have a corner here. You just want to dip on the brakes a little bit, try and hug the inside line, run out wide so you can get a good run down of these corners here. That will take you down through 7 and 8, 9 and then onwards to 10, the hairpin at the very top of the track. If you can set these corners up very nicely, then you can don't have to lift off at all, as we just had a little bit there. I think that was to avoid any incidents. Drivers aren't allowed to overtake during qualifying, but I would argue that that was clear indication there that 11 was allowed to pass by, so not to worry, I should think. Another subtlety to this track is there are no escape routes. There's plenty of concrete walls either side, so it'll be a real test of drivers' capabilities and daring duos as they try to overtake on this rather difficult circuit, as any errors that they do find themselves going under will aid them in hitting the wall, unfortunately, and with no escape routes it could be drastic. Japan's famous bullet train there on the right. So Mulevin goes a little bit faster, setting a 1:57.659. Still holding on to that lead by 0.4 of a second, almost 0.5 even. But we will see how this ends up leaning. So at the moment we do have Mulevin with pole, Yokas in second, Digital Blasphemy in third, Tulu in fourth, with newcomer Ragnar in fifth, and GT Racer in sixth, with Rob on the drums in seventh and Mika in eighth. based on the real-life expressways of Tokyo, the tarmac here is not as grippy as you may find on some of the more traditional circuits. Along with that, the roads themselves are a lot narrower, so only being 2 lanes wide. So this could open up, just touching the wall there, could open up a whole series of issues for drivers where there just isn't enough room to get through without going off of the racing line and putting themselves in the danger zone, as it were, to try and get around other drivers. The circuit does open up when you get to the more technical aspects, so we will see if they have any daring lunges. Having a couple of thoughts there going into the pits. Quite an interesting pit lane we've got here. We're making use of one of the many car parks in Tokyo, as this is one of the GT Sports more fictional circuits. Pit crew doing a great job there, and then straight back out in the same place on the track as when you went in. Drivers will have to be quite careful coming out of the pit lane, as on that last corner with the hairpin just before the pit lane, drivers do like to run wide, try and make use of as much of the track as possible to keep the speed up following on to the next series of corners. Running wide does mean that they put themselves right in the forefront of the pit lane exit, so drivers will need to keep an eye out for that. 2.5 minutes left until the start of the race, or at least until qualifying finishes. Mulevin has managed to go even faster with a 1:57.659. My apologies, no. Mulevin hasn't gone faster. Cthulhu's managed to go faster, bringing that gap down to 0.391 of a second. Although Digital Blasphemy in third position is only 0.035 of a second behind them. Quite a tight bunch here at the moment. I think we've got the first 4 drivers all within a second of each other. Could make for an interesting race. Let's hope so indeed. So at the moment we've got all of the drivers, with the exception of Cthulhu. Who else have we got on the softs? So the majority of drivers at the moment are opting for the supers. It does seem that Flashman appears to have joined us. Thank you very much for coming along. As with all of our Porsche Cup races this season, one of the many rules that we have regarding the tyre strategies is once drivers have used a specific set of rubber compound of the tyres, when they do pit again, they cannot return to that same same compound. So if the driver were to start on the super soft compound and pit later on, they can't reuse that super soft and must make use of the other compounds available, those being the softs, mediums and hards. So 15 seconds left of qualifying. Mulevin does set another faster lap time, a 1:57.396, bringing their gap to second to 0.55 of a second. Clearly making a very good use of those brand new supers there. GT Racer on their final lap here. We'll see if anyone can go better. got a little bit of a train going on here, so we'll see if they can use this train to their advantage, get some of that slipstream, get that higher top speed, as the majority of this track is a lot of long, high-speed straights and low bends. Ragnar setting a new fastest lap as well. Ooh, getting a little bit wide there. Tyres screeching, trying to hold on for grip as much as possible. We'll see if GT Racer can go any better. No, they do not, unfortunately. Ooh, Digital Blasphemy setting a 157.197. Takes Mulevin off the top of the grid pan there, taking a pole off of them. That's a 0.199, so we'll see if that time sticks as we just wait for the timer to count down, and we'll get underway with the race. Some more reasonable speeds for this Expressway, some in the more legal range. I believe the speed limit is usually about 100 kilometers an hour, or 60 miles an hour. Please feel free to fact check me on that one in the comments. So you notice at this point of the race, of the track here, as we come up to this series of about 3 or 4 corners all backing onto each other, the track opens nice and wide, which gives a lot of drivers plenty of opportunity to dive down that inside, try and grab that apex before any of those on the racing line. And then there's a nice open space here as you come around the outside of the corners before the track does close back up again to form the rest of the expressway. Which means that drivers could potentially overtake under braking, grab the position, and then hold onto it with using the narrow lanes to their advantage to avoid other drivers from overtaking. Okay, so there we have it. I believe we have Digital Blasphemy on pole. It's heading a very fast lap right at the end. And now we'll get underway with round 5 of our Sunday Night League Racing League Championship even at the Tokyo South Inner Loop. So we'll just wait for the lights to go out. Here's and we'll wait again for the drivers to leave the lobby so that the steward can rejig the grid start order. This is because the top 3 drivers all begin the race at the back of the grid. So we'll check back to see just as soon as Cthulhu and Digital Blasphemy leave the race. Those finishing, or qualifying rather, in first, second, third get 5, 4 and 3 points respectively. I would appear that the stewards need to reset the lobby. So we will patiently wait for the lobby to be set back up again. I suspect that maybe some of the settings for the lobby were not correct, and so we will just get on that, sort that one out, and we'll be back very, very shortly. So just as a reminder, some notes for this race. We could have another championship leader following the end of this race, as Zanspeed's unable to continue the season due to work commitments. This does allow, though, a new driver on the team, T13 Ragnar, who's making their debut today. So far doing very well in the qualifying. And I do think we have a spare grid slot available, so if you're interested, please do get in touch. Or leave a comment even. Let's take a look at the championship tables at the moment. So, as previously mentioned, Zanspeed is leading the championship with a whole 60 points, followed quite closely by Mulevin, who's on 51 in points in second. Rob on the drums in third at the moment with 49 points. VRC Daz we have in fourth with 47. GT Racer with 43 and Digital Blasphemy with 37. Quite close at the moment between all of the drivers, so this could certainly rearrange itself following the end of this race. It's certainly still all to play for at the moment. We've got Timmy DJG with 31 points in 7th. Jekko and Yokas both joint in 8th with 30 points. OKC Ranger with 27 points in 10th. 11th is I'm Stupid with 21 points. 12th is Cthulhu with 20 points. MFC Doors in 13th with 18. Flashman in 14th with 13 points. Mika in 15th with 11. And Lays One Star in 16th place with 10 points. So, still looking like the championship win is up for grabs at the moment. And we certainly will have a new championship leader at the end of this race. The winner of our last race was Digital Blasphemy, with Mulevin in second and GT Racer in third. So we'll be keeping an eye out for them to see how well they can do in this race. A slight difference to the race we were at last week, which was Spa. This time we're at Tokyo Expressway, which is made up of a number of long straights / slight kinks, with plenty of competitive, complex even series of corners with high braking points. So we are back in the lobby. We'll just have to wait for the other drivers to join, and we should be able to get back to racing very shortly. Seems there is a number of technical issues going on tonight. We'll just have to wait them out, I'm afraid. So let's go on board with Rob on the drums. Oh, maybe not. We're already back in the pits. Does appear though that the maybe it is. No, it seems to have sorted itself out. Rob on the drums livery was having a bit of a whirlwind there. Just waiting for the drivers to give the all clear to say that they are ready, and we'll begin with tonight's race. Hello and welcome again to the Sunday Night Live Round 5 Porsche Cup race. Tonight we are racing at Tokyo Expressway South Inner Loop with a new championship leader guaranteed by the end of the race. It is certainly all to play for. We wait for the lights to go out and get this race underway. So, in first place we have Cthulhu, starting at the front of the grid. Lights out and away we go. Some discrepancy. It seems that there's maybe a technical difficulty. Cthulhu manages to get away, but leaves half the grid behind, unable to move. Not sure what has happened here. We've got Mika asking for a red flag now, with 4 drivers still stuck on the start-finish line. A number of technical issues already with this race. With this, another one to add to them. So we'll wait and see whether drivers can exit and rejoin the lobby, or whether the lobby needs to be restarted once again. We do apologize for the technical difficulties. We'll try and start as soon as we can. So it seems the stewards will be resetting the lobby. It's a slightly unfair race if you end up leaving half the drivers on the start-finish line. So we shall wait a little bit longer to see how we end up going, and then maybe, fingers crossed, the lobby will work this time and we can get our race underway. We have 12 rounds in our Porsche Cup series. So we are not even halfway through and the championship is still wide open. Although next week will be halfway point of our season, with a number of tracks to come. We've got next week the Sunqua B, to be exact, followed by the Autopolis Shorts, then the Blue Moon Bay Speedway in Field A, the Nürburgring GP circuit, Monza with no chicane. We'll see how many of the drivers get caught out there braking for the chicane. I know it's certainly difficult to get you to readjust yourself with. And then round 11 we'll have at Circuit de la Sarthe, otherwise known to you and me as Le Mans. Then our league season final will be at Suzuka. All hoping that the weather will be just as nice as it is today for our drivers. Alright, let's jump back in the lobby and hopefully the gremlins have sorted themselves out. Now we just need to wait for the racers to join back in and click the little green tick on the bottom corner. Let's jump on board already. So, at the moment, we have GT Racer and Cthulhu having a little race of their own pre-race. Where we jump on board. Whee. So, just coming up to one of the many hard braking points here. So will GT Racer try and sneak down the inside? No, they've gone quite wide there. I suspect this being practice, they may just be having a little fool around. Okay, we'll wait for the drivers to be ready, and then, he says, hopefully we will be good to go. Once again, hello and welcome to Sunday Night League's Round 5 at the Tokyo Expressway. On pole we have Cthulhu, followed by Yokas in second, Ragnar a newcomer in third, Rob on the drums in fourth, MSC Doors in fifth, OKC Ranger in sixth, Mika in seventh, with Flashman in eighth. We'll wait for the lights to go out. And hopefully all the cars will be able to get away. Away we go, and oh, there's a few cars that aren't able to start, but most of them do seem to get away. Ooh, there is apparently a bit of a gremlin going on with the spectating. I'm not able to actually follow any of the drivers. Let's go back and have a look at the variable camera. That doesn't seem to want to work. Well, the available camera options we have are those on board. None of the variables seem to be working, as it is convinced they're all still stuck at the start-finish line. Let's stay on board then with Cthulhu, who manages to keep hold of first position, although there seems to be a little bit of a squabble at the back there. Is that an overtake we see? Ooh, just on board with Mika, holding behind them Flashman and GT Racer. Ooh, just trying to grab that inside line to cut GT Racer off. He falls back a little bit. Flashman just nudges the wall, going a bit on the outside, and loses quite a bit of momentum as Mika manages to hold on to seventh position. But he does leave Flashman and GT Racer both squabbling for 8th position as they fall even further back. Let's go with variable again. Oof, unfortunately. Nope. So, this could be it for the race, I'm afraid. The cameras available to me are not the best. Right. Hey, look the other way, please. Come on. There we go. Nope. Excuse me as I have my own technical difficulties. What is going on? Right, let me try and exit and come back in again as a spectator to see if that manages to make things work. Nope. Well. Just having a look. Hang on a minute. No. I am almost adamant we've done more than one lap already. But apparently the timing says we've only done 1 out of 10 laps. I'm afraid we may need to re-record this one post-race. As without proper... Oh no, variable has now started working itself again. Thank you. Right. I still don't have the timing, and we've apparently only done one lap. So we'll go from here and try and do our best. But at the moment, after apparently lap 1 of this race, we have in first position Cthulhu, our newcomer Ragnar up into second, with Yokas in third, OKC Ranger in fourth, Mulevin in fifth, Rob on the drums in sixth, Mika in seventh, MFC Doors Digital in 8th, Digital Blasphemy in 9th, 10th we have GT Racer and Flashman down in 11th. So, just as we cross the start-finish line, let's see. Hey, the timer is working. Maybe we hadn't actually done a whole lap. Apologies for all of the technical difficulties we've had. Ooh, just scraping a little bit of the side there, going too wide. We've got Cthulhu. But looking down the rest of the pack, I think we had a bit of a squabble, still have a squabble going on for 7th position between Mika, MSC Door, Digital Blasphemy and GT Racer, the last two of which are side by side, having a little bit of a bump as we come up to one of the more harder braking zones. Ooh, Mika just trying to hold that inside line, keep that position. MFC Doors goes a little bit wide, tries to take the middle line. Digital Blasphemy jumps up into 9th position, keeping GT Racer behind them. Mika holds on to 7th place as we now head back down the long straight towards the hairpin corner, where we may see another change in position of these drivers. So, fastest lap at the moment going to the newcomer Ragnar with 158.08. 0.82, yes. Cthulhu still up in front with Ragnar in second and Yokas in third. We'll just stay on board at the moment with this bunch. So, coming up to the hairpin now, Mika at the moment in 7th, having done very well to hold on to the position, keeps the inside line. Ooh, Digital Blasphemy manages to slip past through MFC Doors by taking the inside line and leaving GT Racer behind them. So, just one position change there as Digital Blasphemy takes up into 8th position, dropping MFC Doors to 9th. But Mika doing very well to hold them all behind. She's only got to keep this up for another 7 laps. As, ooh, GT Racer now having a look at the inside of MFC Doors and manages to make the overtake stick. Very nicely done there. However, Mika now coming under fire from Digital Blasphemy, the pair of them fighting for position. Mika running a little bit wide there, but does manage to keep the position as Digital Blasphemy slips in behind to try and get that slipstream. Quite the train that we've got forming here. Now, let's see if Digital Blasphemy can try and take the inside line, a line that Mika had previously tried to hold on to keep their position. Loses out to Digital Blasphemy, unfortunately, but Digital Blasphemy just going a little bit wide. With MSC Doors and GT Racer now back behind the pair of them. GT Racer having dropped a few paces down. Just running up against the concrete there as they run wide, sending sparks flying. Must be absolutely deafening as they go through these tunnels. Right, Mika now having a look back on Digital Blasphemy. Quite a risky move here. Ooh, manages to make it stick. Very nicely done. But with the hairpin up ahead, can she hold on to this position? Goes for the inside line. Takes it nice and wide to keep as much speed as possible. Yes, she does. Very nicely done. Held on to. Some great racing at the moment for 6th position. They have managed to leave MFC Doors. I'm starting to wonder now. Oh, Digital Blasphemy all over the back of Mika there. Desperately trying to get through. Mika having absolutely none of it. doing very well to cover those overtaking lines. So we do have MFC Doors just in the background there. I am just wondering what's happened to GT Racer. I believe GT Racer has seems to have fallen back. We're probably too far back to have a replay and see what had happened. They've jumped into the pits, so that's what has set them all the way back there. Now let's jump back up to, so we have Cthulhu still in first position with a 2.8 second lead over Ragnar, although Cthulhu has now traded back the fastest lap, saying a 1:57.9, which was previously the fastest lap being previously held by Ragnar. In third we have Jokas, and then it looks to be OK Ranger and Mulevin seemingly fighting for that fourth position. I think there was just a bit of an overtake there. Rob on the drums into sixth. As we go back to our battle for seventh position at the moment between between Digital Blasphemy, Mika, and MFC Doors. Mika taking seventh position, doing very well on these long bendy straights we've got here. Bit of an oxymoron there, but long straights with slight bends in them. Not the usual overtaking space without causing too much risk, though. I wasn't expecting to see so many overtakes going down the straights. Digital Blasphemy is trying to cover that inside line that Mika had previously used. Mika may be able to get enough speed out of this corner. It did look like she was having to back off there to make room for Digital Blasphemy to get through, as she just couldn't quite put her foot down, but she is right on the back of them, as MFC Doors is still there looming in the background with not a great deal, in fact no escape routes on this track. The constant battling and hitting any of the walls could end the race rather abruptly, so you want to avoid hitting those walls as much as possible. There's certainly a lot of sparks going on as they brush against them, so that will only unfortunately slow them down a bit. MFC Doors just dropping off into the distance there. Same with Mika. Let's just stay on board with her at the moment, falling slightly behind there. At the moment though, tyres looking not too bad. May need to come in for the pits at some point soon. Very nicely done there. So Cthulhu's still out on the softs with Ragnar on the supers, doing some amazing tyre work there. Doesn't look like there's too much degradation on those tyres, although the rears do look a little bit more worn than the front, so they may need to play around with their brake bias, try and take some of the load off of the rear. So looks like Cthulhu into the pits. Ragnar stays out to take first position. Jokas also into the pits. Mulevin stays out, moving up into second place, having not worn their supers down quite as much as some of the other drivers, and with still just under half a tank of fuel at the moment, and having not pit, so they must be going for the long run here. Ooh, just touching the barrier there a little bit. Must be going for the long run, maybe notch the engine, try and conserve some of that fuel and pit, or perhaps not pit even at all, as we are on lap 7 of 10. Sure if they're going to be able to make it all the way to the end without having to refuel, so we'll still keep an eye on them. I suspect they 11 in second, Digital Blasphemy behind in third, although followed very closely by Rob on the drums, and with Mika trailing behind them, having somewhat left behind MFC Doors and Digital Blasphemy, or rather Digital Blasphemy having jumped up into third position and getting away rather. MFC Doors still in sixth, although the gap has opened up to 6 seconds now. Cthulhu, who having did pit now on the supers, has dropped down to 7th place. Must be hoping that a number of the drivers up ahead will need to pit to try and make up some of those positions again after having led the first half of this race. We'll see where they end up. Yokas in 8th with OKC Ranger in 9th. GT Racer in 10th and Flashman in 11th. Those of which all seem to have pitted. Ragnar into the pits now. So there, the fuel light was flashing at them, which means that Mulevin has jumped to first position. Looks like they could see this all the way to the end. Digital Blasphemy on some new, slightly newer supers, although comparatively the same amount of tyre degradation that Mulevin's got on theirs, which is, or maybe they haven't pitted yet. No, I don't think Digital Blasphemy has actually pitted. My apologies, I thought I saw a P on the right there. So both these drivers clearly looking like they're on the same strategy. Digital Blasphemy has brought that time down though. It was previously 3 seconds, it's now 2.3 seconds. Could be in for another position change for first place. At the moment though, Digital Blasphemy is currently sitting 6th in the championship table, and Mulevin is currently in 2nd. So Mulevin will want to hold on to that first position. Although Digital Blasphemy is probably enough points behind that Mulevin could lose out that first and come in 2nd, but still hold on to the championship lead and overtake Zan Speed, who's currently the championship leader. Only one way to find out, and we're on 8 laps of 10 at the moment. 2.2 second gap now at the moment. Rob on the drums in 3rd position is 7 seconds behind 1st and 2nd, but it does seem that they are in a bit of fresh air between the 2nd and 4th. Almost 7.5 seconds apiece between 2nd and 4th respectively. MFC Doors in 4th, Cthulhu in 5th, Ragnar down to 6th after having pitted for a set of new softs, pitting behind Cthulhu as well. These two, for the first half of the race, were in 1st and 2nd respectively. And I must be really hoping that the other drivers... Oh, will we see another pit here? So MFC Doors into the pits, almost slightly unsure of where the pits were there for a second. They're not in your usual, the usual place you would think they would be. So MFC Doors pitting this late in the race, interestingly. Maybe didn't think there was enough fuel left in the car to see them to the end of the race. Mika down in 10th after a fantastic battle for 6th position earlier in the race. So it does look like MFC Doors does come out behind Mika. These two were previously battling for that aforementioned 6th position, and Flashman still down in 11th, a whole minute and 11 seconds behind. Now, gap between 1st and 2nd, Mulevin's still in 1st, but that gap's been brought down to 1.2 seconds, and we are on the penultimate lap. Can they hold on to that, is the question. Both drivers with near identical tyre deg and fuel consumption, although I suspect there's quite a number more scratches on the side of Digital Blasphemy's car than there are Mulevin's. Just grazing along the arm car every now and again there. That's probably not going to help them in terms of holding those high speeds through the corners. The key to this track is really trying to maintain as much speed as possible and not drop it off. Some of these corners do require you to scrub a little bit, a little tap on the brake, just so you don't get sent flying off. But the majority of them you can take quite flat out. So, in the back end out there, drifting around the hairpin, does Digital Blasphemy wider route through that corner. Although somehow it's managed to pay off for Digital Blasphemy, who, at the moment, is only 0.6 of a second behind Mulevin. So, let's go in cockpit view with Digital Blasphemy on what is now the final lap. Certainly within attacking zone, so we'll see if they'll go for the inside line. Can it? No. just having to back out of that one. Unfortunately, don't think they could have made that move stick, as they would have gone too fast into that corner. Mu11 holding on to first position, but very aware of Digital Blasphemy right behind them as we come up to one of the more complex parts of the circuit. They're now 2 abreast. Who can break latest? Digital Blasphemy does have the inside line, but doesn't seem to quite have the head as Mu11. Oh, he just squeezes Mu11 off there and takes first position away from them. Mu11 just slipping back now behind Digital Blasphemy. We do have the hairpin up ahead, so they want to be keeping nice and tight behind them so that Digital Blasphemy can punch the hole in the air for them. Might even see an overtake going through. Ooh, I'm having my own technical difficulties at the moment, apparently. Might even have... Yes, Mu11's managed to take first position back again with enough of a slipstream round. Can they hold on to it though with the hairpin coming up? So it looks like they're trying to cover that inside line away from Digital Blasphemy. Managing to hold on to it. Digital Blasphemy maybe taking a bit too of a wider line. Mu11 gets the back end out, loses a ton of speed through there, and Digital Blasphemy sweeps in and takes first place. Still a number of corners left to play for though. Oh, not going to be letting them get away anytime soon. They are absolutely glued to the back of the bumper, trying to go for that inside line at the moment. It's not quite making it work. Hitting the wall. Really pushing this car, Mu11 is at the moment, but I don't think it's quite enough as they head down to the final corner before the start-finish line. And I believe is the checkered flag is Digital Blasphemy in first position with Mu11 in a very close second, all the way down to the wire. Just on board here with Cthulhu in third place as they too cross the start-finish line. Rob on the drums comes home in fourth. Our newcomer Ragnar in fifth. Yokas being followed very closely by OKC Ranger, coming in 6th and 7th respectively. We have GT Racer at the moment in 8th. Mika coming back, still managing to hold MFC Doors behind them. Did very well to do so in 9th. MFC Doors some way down the track, coming home in 10th. With Flashman almost a minute behind. I'm not sure what had happened with Flashman, whether there was some technical difficulty at the beginning of the race that meant they weren't able to keep with the rest of the pack there, or whether they must have had an off. This circuit is rather unforgiving with the lack of escape routes they have. So fastest lap there looks like it did go to Cthulhu, but well done to Digital Blasphemy for very narrowly taking first place there on our Porsche Cup round 5. So let's have a look once again at those race results. Our fastest lap went to Cthulhu, setting a 1:57.4 on lap 9. But the winner of tonight's race was indeed Digital Blasphemy, with Mu11 only 0.5 of a second behind them as they came across the finish line to take second. Cthulhu then in third, Rob on the drums in fourth, with our newcomer Ragnar in fifth, Yokas in 6th, 7th. We have OKC Ranger, GT Racer in 8th. 9th we have Mika, followed by 10th we have MFC Doors and Flashman in 11th. Thank you all very much for listening along, or watching along rather. Our next Formula X race will begin later this evening at, hopefully, providing there's no further technical difficulties. He says trying to take his timetable and nothing happens. 8 o'clock, I believe. We will meet you back here, where the lobby will open at 8 o'clock, but our race will start at 8:30. Thank you all very much, and we'll see you later on